Just want to ask the folks outside to step as close to us as you can. We're going to get started in just a moment. Obviously, I'm looking out at a huge sea of faces, and we're really excited you're all here, but we're a little standing room only, so we're glad you're here, and take it away.
I'm going to make sure. Can you hear me? Yeah. Hear me in the back? Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the site of the future St. James Mercy Hospital. I like the sound of that. In 2013, that's better, I sat in a hospital conference room with a group of community and hospital leaders. We called the New Vision Task Force, which came together to define the future of healthcare in Hornell. A few of you in the audience were with me, including Mayor Hogan, Stan Konopko, Dr. Annabelle, I know you're here, but I don't know where you are. There you are. Dr. Muir, and I know you're here as well, and Dr. McKellar. There's some other trusted advisors we had along the way who cannot be here with us today, including Tim McCormick, Stuart Putnam, Mark Darrow, and Drew Sharma. Remember the many questions we had at that time. Would we have a hospital in Hornell? What about inpatient beds? Would we someday escape our historic but outmoded and inefficient hospital facility? Who would be our partner? At that time, we had many more questions than answers. We also had faith. We had faith in our mission, faith in our board of directors, our clinicians, our leadership, and our staff. And of course, we had faith in our community. Along the way, we placed our faith in the hands of others. We had faith in Governor Cuomo, without whose leadership and foresight, we would not be standing where we are today. We had faith in the vision of the New York State Department of Health. Your drive to see true, tangible healthcare transformation rooted in collaboration will serve as a model for the nation. Congressman Reed and his staff helped us secure federal support and served as trusted advisors. Allison Hunt from his office, I'm not sure I've seen Allison. There she is. Allison is here today, and she's been a tremendous resource to St. James. So thank you, Allison. Senator Schumer and his staff, too, pushed us across the many speed bumps on the way to the finish line. These officials and their staffs have been diligent, supportive, and, of course, patient. We are forever thankful. Today I'm very pleased to have Assemblyman Phil Palmisano, he's over here. He's our hometown, longtime supporter, and he's here with us today. Thank you, Assemblyman. Mike Palmisano is here representing Assemblyman Joe Arrigo, and I know Mike is here. Thank you, Mike, for being here. Senator Tom O'Mara is here with us as well. Thank you, Senator O'Mara. I have some things to say about our mayor, Sean Hogan, in a moment, but he is here too, and we thank you for your support. I'd also like to acknowledge leaders from our council and from the municipal governments of all our area towns and villages. I've seen many of you here, and I know you're scattered throughout. Thank you for joining us today. We are grateful for the collaborative spirit with which all of you have approached this project. And finally, our mayor-elect, John Buckley, I know I saw you here. Congratulations. We look forward to working with you. About a year into our New Vision planning effort, we found the right partner for our mission, You Are Medicine. I want to thank Steve Goldstein and Dr. Taubman for helping us navigate this transformation process, providing guidance, and most importantly, talented clinical leaders that helped our St. James team embrace the best practices You Are Medicine has cultivated. I know Leo Bordeaux is here today. Thank you for joining us. Dr. Mayeski, I know you're here somewhere. Thank you. Dr. Ahmed and our other friends from You Are Medicine, thank you for being here today. The leadership of You Are Medicine understands what it means to transform healthcare and deliver value to communities. And their efforts at creating sustainable, regional approach to healthcare in the Southern Tier has been exceptional. We are looking forward to strengthening our bonds with our counterparts in the Southern Tier, including Jones Memorial, whose CEO Eva Benedict is here. Eva, I know you're here somewhere. There she is, thanks for coming. Jim Helms, I see Jim back there, as well as Noise Health. A group that placed a lot of faith in us is our board of directors. From setting up the New Vision Task Force to providing steady leadership throughout the twists and turns of the past 4 years. The board of directors has held steadfast in their faith in the St. James leadership team and our ability to make this vision a reality. This vision would not have become a reality, however, without our compassionate clinicians, staff, and administrators who ensured delivering quality care to patients continued to be our #1 goal. I am humbled by your grace during this time of transition. You make this community great. Neither could we have done this without our community, who after we communicated our new vision, began using their local hospital again. We are ever grateful for your trust in us. Lastly, forever our mayor, Sean Hogan. No one has been a more vocal, energetic, and progress-minded advocate for our city. He is more than a difference maker. He is our city's champion, our cheerleader, and at times our conscience. As I reflect on that first meeting of the New Vision Task Force that generated so many questions, I realize today we have the answers. Today, the first shovels will go in the ground for the future of St. James Mercy Hospital. We are realizing the vision. I like to think that Father James Early would be proud that our faith in Hornell was transformative, just as his faith was 125 years ago when he founded the original St. James Mercy Hospital. Thank you all so much for helping us commemorate this event. Now I would like to welcome to the podium board member and one of the truest friends healthcare in our community has, Hornell Mayor Sean Hogan.
Thank you, Jen, for that very gracious introduction and very humbling introduction. This day, and when we sat down in 2013 with the New Vision Task Force, it seemed like a dream, a wish or hope. I don't think anyone really understands, other than the people who worked at St. James and the people that, the clinicians, the doctors, they know how close we came to the abyss, where there wasn't going to be a healthcare presence in this community. And having worked as a city administrator and in economic development, without a hospital, you don't have a community. Particularly a community that was on the crux of growing exponentially economic development-wise. We knew Alstom, 3 years ago was, in the running for the Amtrak contract, $2.5 billion, and we were going to see economic growth and growth as a community. We have that. We have that with 2 new housing projects going up. We've got commercial projects in the pipeline. And most importantly, we have a new hospital going in the ground here. And so many people deserve so much credit. Jen, who was in the accounting office, finance office, was thrown into this job as CEO. after the other CEO was relieved of her duties by Trinity Health. And this problem fell into her lap. Jen, we rallied the troops. I remember the Hornell Industrial Development Agency with Jim Griffin. We sponsored a community dinner, and how are we going to save St. James? And it started from there. And so the employees of St. James have been so loyal and so good and worked without raises and stayed loyal to the institution, and we made it work. U of R, they came to the table. They gave us guidance. They gave us hope. They gave us their expertise, and here we are today. You know, the November 4th was the feast day of St. Francis of Assisi. And I know some of you have heard my favorite quote from St. Francis. But St. Francis had a positive vision he had two loves, the sick and poor. But he also thought we should live in peace and promote peace and love and working together. And his quote was, "You must begin by doing what's necessary, then what is possible, and before you know it, you're doing the impossible." And that's what's been done here. I was recanting with Leo Bordeaux of UR Medicine when we came to the table there, and we were talking about St. James, and the first thing he said to us, "Hey, you got to eliminate $8 million here." I go, yeah, that's what we did. We stumbled, whatever, but it happened. So, without further ado, I just want to end. Because we didn't know where we were going. There was a lot of unanswered questions, a lot of pieces of the puzzle. But you have to be thankful that you have progressive governor and progressive legislature in this state. If you look to the south, to the west, rural hospitals are closing at record rates. At record rates. There's places in South Carolina and North Carolina that literally have no health care for miles and miles and miles. Not 17, not 30, but hundreds of miles. Thanks to the progressive policies of our governor and our state legislature who support it, and they support the health department, and Tom O'Mara and Phil Pombasano and Joe Arrigo, we have a policy in this state that are saving hospitals, are keeping them afloat, because they know the importance of health care for rural America, rural New York, and the importance to economic development. Without hospitals, without good schools, you don't have the base to attract anyone or anything. And we've got that now. We're here. We have a solid base. So another favorite spiritual guy of mine is a guy named Thomas Merton, who was a Capuchin monk and a great literary genius. And with his quote, I'll end. It says, "We do not need to know precisely what is happening or exactly where it is all going. What we need is to recognize the possibilities and challenges offered by the present moment, and to embrace them with courage, faith, and hope." Thank you.
Well, good morning. This is a great day for Hornell. It's a great day for the people throughout this region. And I'm very pleased to be here to speak for Dr. Mark Taubman, who's our CEO at the University Medical Center, who unfortunately could not be here, and Steve Goldstein, who's in Chicago today because Steve's been working with his sleeves rolled up to help this transition and this turnaround for quite some time. I'd like to pick up on one comment that the mayor just made, and that's to put what's happening today in context. Across the country, small rural hospitals are closing at a record rate. And they're closing for two reasons. One, they don't have the kind of support that hospitals in New York State have from their government. I totally agree with the mayor on that. But the other is so many of them try to go alone. And what we found is that hospitals who try to survive alone in very small communities have a really hard time doing it. And so working with the board at St. James, the leadership at St. James, as well as with those of us at the medical center at the university, the leadership at Jones, the leadership at Noyes, we developed a plan to create a regional system of care by working together and strengthen healthcare in all of these communities. And you can thank the vision of the... Did I say something wrong?
We're going to check on that, if you don't mind.
Okay. I'll keep trying to get... In the back, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I've got a decent enough voice. Keep it going. What you can really thank is the vision and the foresight of the leadership of these organizations who understood that creating a regional system of care would make every community stronger, and that's what we're in the middle of doing. Working with the leadership of St. James and with the board of St. James has been nothing but inspiring. Given what St. James has gone through over the last 2 and 3 and 4 years, the fact that these people persisted, they kept at it, is just remarkable. And I think this community owes those leaders a real debt of gratitude. As part of this whole transition with St. James, we signed a management agreement in 2015, and we expect to conclude a formal affiliation with St. James in the very near future. And through that agreement, we help in a number of fields, including medical leadership. Dr. Ray Mayeski has been the chief medical officer, has done a phenomenal job here, and Dr. Bilal Ahmed is already doing a great job as the new chief medical officer from the university, but working at St. James. And the collaboration just couldn't be better. Today certainly looks like it's a construction site, it's about a building, but it's not about a building. This is about ensuring high quality health care for the people of this community and this region. That's what this is all about. That's what the investment is. And without the support, the continuing support from Governor Cuomo, his administration, the New York State Department of Health, none of this would be possible. At UR Medicine, we have two goals when it comes to health care. Number one, we want to make sure that when you need health care, you can get almost everything locally and not have to leave your community. And that's what we intend to help do here. And number two, when you need care that's very, very specialized, very sophisticated, and you do need to leave your community, we want to make sure you never have to leave upstate New York. And so together with UR Medicine, St. James, Nicholas Noyes, Jones Memorial, we're going to make that dream a reality. So I'm really pleased, thrilled to have been a part of this transition for the past 2.5 years, pleased to be here today, and delighted to introduce to you Dr. Bilal Ahmed, who's the Chief Medical Officer.
It's a good thing the lecture came back on. My voice doesn't carry it like Mayor Hogan's voice. So, you know, the sun is shining, and John Mayer just told me sun always shines in Hornell. So if that's a sign, we're going to be fine. I'm a little bit of a history buff. Actually, I joined Hornell as the chief medical officer after Ray Mayeski left, just in time for me to make the speech and not him. So, you know, when I came here, I was kind of I was Googling Hornell, and you know, there are moments in the history of communities, of institutions, of families, and for the Hornell community, I think that one of those pivotal moments was when the railroad came to town. And if I was directing a movie, this would be a cue for the train to go. But you know, that was back in 1850, as Jen had mentioned, and you know, Hornell's fortunes have intertwined with the train industry ever since. And you know, guess what? Alston's back, so the trains are back, and so are we. So you know, I agree with you, Mayor, that we needed to make sure that the hospital survives because the other part of the town is doing well. So with the growing of community, you know, we need to make sure that we take care of our citizens. And as you just mentioned, Jen, Reverend James early recognized that early. And you know, he founded St. James Mercy Hospital, and you know, here we are 130 years later, and the next iteration is coming down the line. This hospital really has played a critical role in this community. It employs people, it directly has an economic impact, and most importantly, it has provided excellent care to the people of the region for all this time. But I have to say, if there's a hero in the story, there's always a hero in the story. It is the collective people of Hornell. I mean, they have, this includes the St. James staff, the hospital leadership, the local physicians, the community leaders. They believe in the mission of this hospital, and as you just mentioned, Mayor Hogan, some years were really dark, and we were always kind of going down under, and people persevered. So one of the crucial turning points in the hospital's history was when we joined hand with UVAR. And as you just mentioned, Leo, is that these hospital closures, we were just talking about that in the board meeting last night, is that there's closures happening every day. They're mostly happening in the southern states, but also in the northern states as well. And usually I totally agree, the hospitals which don't connect with the larger system, they tend to go down under. You just cannot run a modern hospital with all the metrics that we're supposed to follow with just being alone on your own. So this today is a milestone, and it's a big milestone. We are realizing the dream. What the dream is that we really need to provide a state-of-the-art care through our inpatient units, our emergency department. There's going to be a new surgical suite. You see all this happening behind me. This is going to be the Hornell Medical Village, is what we're going to call it. There's going to be advanced technology. There's going to be new imaging technology coming to this building, and there's going to be a multi-specialty suite of UR medicine providers who will be dedicated to provide care throughout the region, not just in Hornell. We will also have primary care services, and Dr. Meir is here today, so we also have the luxury of Oak Orchard being a part of this Hornell Medical Village. So for me, up in Rochester, when I see patients from Hornell and Dansville and all these places every day, and they're lost. I mean, they're lost because they cannot get the services that they need in their local communities. They're up there. Their families can't make it to see them every day. Some of them don't have transport. So the question is for the university, why can't we do it down in these regions? So that's basically what we're trying to do now, is to provide the same kind of care that people will get in Rochester or New York City or wherever else here in Hornell at your doorstep. So that's the whole idea. So we're proud to be a part of this project. The challenge, if you ask me, I was asked to talk about the medical aspect of it. I think the challenge for us, is to get the right kind of providers to come back and stream back into this community. So employing and recruiting the right kind of providers who have the heart in this community is going to be my #1 priority. One of the things, and I'm going to take this opportunity to thank Mayor Hogan for this. We're trying to do is to bring in students from the LECOM, which is the Lake Erie College of Medicine. They're based in Elmira. Their dean is here today with us. We are going to get their med students to come and train here at different sites in Hornell. So you're going to be seeing a lot of young doctors in this community and students and all that. The hope is that once they get trained and once they graduate, they make this place a home. And Mayor Hogan was a big, he helped us a lot. He bought a house. I don't know how he bought a house, and we're just actually doing there's a new roof going on, and so there's going to be a house for these students to stay in, which is the biggest. I mean, these are cool kids. I mean, they're in med school. They're paying so much, anyway. So it'll be free accommodation for them, and they'll be based here. I think it's going to be a huge boon for the community, for the hospital as well. So my priority at the end, what I would like to say, is to enhance the patient experience. We're already doing that in the hospital. We're rounding every day. We're going to the bedside, improve the population health. And I really want to infuse the caregiving at St. James with compassion and empathy. I think at the end of the day, a physician's job or a caregiver's job is to bring compassion and empathy to the caregiving. And I want to make that, the mission of James Early. I want to continue that. I want to bring that compassion back to this place. And we'll be able to do that, no question. So this wouldn't have been possible with your support. Thank you all. The board's commitment, thank you. The New York State leadership, they're all here today. And UR medicine. I mean, if we were together, this would not have been possible. And I'm firmly believe that moving and working together, we really will bring the medicine of highest order to Hornell. Thank you.
whenever someone from out of town comes to Hornell to work, I always try to sell that concept that the sun always shines in Hornell. Sometimes it works, but Bilal's been here long enough now. He knows sometimes we have cloudy days. On behalf of the board of directors, I'd like to thank everyone for coming today. We've got a huge crowd, which indicates what kind of support we've had. The board of directors position at St. James, like a lot of non-for-profits, it's part-time, voluntary. It's made up of members that represent the community, provide oversight and guidance to the administration at St. James. I think my wife would tell you that it's far from part-time, at least the last several years. We have a very, very dedicated group that have put in countless hours, so I want to recognize each of them. Dr. Ishmael Mir, Dr. Spencer Annabelle, Brian Shue, Pete Wall, Dr. Susan Gray, Mayor Sean Hogan, and Jen Sullivan, our CEO. The vision and leadership of this group is a big part of why we're here today. So thank you to each member and to your families. You take a lot of time away from your jobs and families for this part-time volunteer job. I'd like to thank the Hornell community. Through this whole process, through the dark days, the Hornell community has always been there for us. From the Save Your Hospital campaign to the Use Your Hospital campaign, we could always rely on the people of Hornell to rise up like we've always done through good times and bad times. And once again, the people of Hornell, the people of the entire Canisteo Valley have supported the vision for the future of St. James. So from the board of directors, thank you. I want to once again thank the University of Rochester for their belief in our community and their efforts to partner with us to provide sustainable quality health care, not just to the Canisteo Valley, but to the entire region. The U of R has really stepped up. Sometimes we get a little territorial. Sometimes we feel they're trying to, people coming from out of town are trying to steal our patients. Trust me, the people from the U of R really care about healthcare in this community and the surrounding communities. You met Leo Brudel, Dr. Bilal Ahmed, Dr. Ray Maskey's here. Steve Goldstein couldn't be here, you heard. These individuals, along with Dr. Roger Osvig, have put in countless hours for the benefit of this community. So from the board of directors, I just want to say thank you to the University of Rochester. Another group that I have to thank, and Sean mentioned this, but a group that we really wouldn't be here today if we didn't have, is the dedicated employees of St. James Hospital. St. James has employees like no other place. Employees that have been there 50 years, have dedicated their lives to St. James Hospital and to healthcare in this community. And there's a group of employees that have been with us through thick and thin and never lost faith in the vision for the future for St. James. And from the board, I want to say thank you to this group. I, for one, am very proud to have played a small part in these efforts. Today is much more than a groundbreaking. There's a lot of work to be done. Today represents the beginning of the next phase as we work towards the ultimate goal of providing quality, sustainable health care to this region, to the Hornell community for generations to come. So thank you everybody for your efforts and your help through this whole process. And we look forward to your support as we move forward. Thank you.
Got me again. So we're going to move into the shovel ceremony, and so I'm going to invite the participants up by name. I believe the names are on the shovels, but Dustin is going to help everyone go where you need to go. So on behalf of Assemblyman Joe Arrigo, Mike Palmisano. Senator Tom O'Mara. On behalf of Congressman Reed, Allison Hunt. Chairman of the St. James Mercy Hospital Board of Directors, Dr. John Lyon. Board member and Mayor of Cornell, Sean Hogan. On behalf of UR Medicine, Leo Bradeau. Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Bilal Ahmed. The Chase Construction CEO, Bill Goodrich. Our architect, Mohammed Razak. And Assemblyman Phil Palmisano.